Mick and Sam, taking you to Jungle Land. Bengals pride, it fills the air. Every week we're always there. Touchdowns, tackles, all the plays. Bengals roaring every way. Stories, news, and game recaps. Jungle Juice, we bridge those gaps. Welcome to the Jungle Juice. Mick and Sam, let's break it loose. Cincinnati, hear our call. Bengals fans, unite us all.
Welcome into this week's edition of the Jungle Juice podcast. I'm Sam Gormley. He's Mick Nelson. Mick, we're flying by the seat of our pants a little bit. We've had some technical difficulties, just open, ready to go.
Yeah. It's like the third week in a row here. Actually, I mean, this one was a little bit weirder, though. I don't know. I guess it wasn't your laptop thing.
It had to have been.
What were the noises that were coming out of me on that? Because the noises that were coming out of you were crazy.
Really? See, and I was not hearing anything. And what was the weird part about it is, and I guess we're like producing on the air here, is like I had been playing. We have a video that's going to be playing here to start off today's show. We will be playing it here in a minute, but I was like, what is the issue? Like, why is this video not working? I was like, it was just working a second ago, and the issue is that my laptop. I hope my 10-year-old MacBook is not fine. Our 10.5-year-old MacBook has not finally decided to retire. I hope that's not the case, because that's the last thing that I need. But maybe she has. Maybe she's finally decided that it's done. I don't know. It could necessarily be a problem, though. There's no question about that. But we got a big show
coming up.
Yeah, I don't know that a $1,200 purchase is something that I can ask Santa Claus for. But yeah, I mean, listen, hey, you never know. You never know when it comes to it. But we got a big show planned for today. We got a lot to
not with that attitude, you can't.
That accurate, touche for sure. But we got a lot of stuff to get to today. There is a ton of news for us to discuss. We got to talk about Bengals Bills, and I think we'll just dabble in Bengals Ravens since obviously it just happened, even though we actually didn't preview that game. We'll dabble in it a little bit and hit some of the notes just because there's so much for us to get to. We'll talk too about playoffs, a little bit later in the show to say, by rule, the Bengals are still in it, and we'll say, okay, what needs to happen and so on as it goes along for that. But we invite you to follow us on social media channels. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're also on Twitter. You can also follow us on your favorite podcasting platform. Make sure to give us a 5-star rating that way. But the biggest news of the day today, Mick, and we'll hit some of the other headlines, is Joe Burrow. First off, happy birthday, Joe Burrow. He is 29 years young today, so happy birthday to the man himself.
Happy birthday, Joe Burrow.
Man, you've got a heck of a delay there.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Hope it's go. Yeah, I know. My computer's doing some weird shit right now. Did you just spread a virus to my laptop?
I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I did a little bit. But today, the biggest news with this too is Joe Burrow talked, and he said some interesting things. And so what I did, Mick, is I'm a journalist at heart, obviously, in my day job. And I think sometimes people can take quotes and misconstrue them a little bit. And, it's kind of sensationalism journalism-wise. So you're seeing some of the quotes. And I'm by no means saying that the way people are saying what he said is inaccurate, because I think if anything else, it is relatively accurate. But what I wanted to do is I wanted you to hear it from Joe Burrow himself. Because, Mick, you've not seen this, and do you even know what it's about?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm
this
going
is
in.
Your
this is
first
blind.
reaction.
Yes.
This is Joe Burrow today at the press conference, and I want to know your take on what he says here. Are you ready? Here we go.
Just wanting to go out there and how much you want to kind of play as you have a different perspective coming off the injury, maybe as a different approach in how you maybe perceive things move after the injury. Does that change your competitive fire at all to go out and win? How has the injury maybe have changed the way that you view the game?
No, it certainly doesn't change my desire to win. you know, if I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. You know, I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So that's the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table.
How much fun are you having right now? Is it difficult to have fun given the season, what you've been through physically, emotionally, all of it? Is it tough?
Yeah, certainly.
Did you have fun playing before I mean, how much of it was fun before? Winning's always fun, but in general, was it as fun before you got hurt? Did you view it that way, at least?
No, I wouldn't say I viewed it that way. I think.
What was the changing point?
Changing point. I'm not sure there was a singular moment or of time. It's just a reflection on a lot of things that I've done and been through in my career. I think I've been through more than most, and certainly not easy on the brain or the body. So just trying to have fun doing it again. Watching them.
Is there a level of frustration you're dealing with right now, Joe? You seem like there's something on your mind, or maybe I'm reading too much into it, but you seem frustrated.
There's just a lot of things going on right now.
Football related, personally?
All the
Okay, Mick, you're hearing that now for the first time.
Yeah.
What's your takeaway?
I mean, I think that just what's happened to Joe Burrow, what's happened to the Bengals organization over the course of the past 3 seasons really has, I think it's come to somewhat of a boiling point for Joe Burrow. And, you know, I think this was kind of the moment that a lot of us fans have kind of feared would finally happen, or would end up happening. You know, you and I, we both became fans during the Carson Palmer era. You know, I think my first season watching was technically Carson's rookie season, in which he didn't play and John Kitna played, and then Carson played for 7 seasons from 2004 to 2010. We're now in year 6 of Burrow, and there's been a lot of parallels where you had a team that started out pretty hot with a young quarterback, in which the Bengals really, with Burrow as opposed to Palmer, have reached heights that you and I personally have never seen, and the franchises hadn't seen in, you know, over 30 years. And now, kind of the same thing has happened. You're paying, you know, you have a front office, you know, and I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, they have the money to extend players and sign players and go get after the best guy in free agency. But in all realities, they're very risk averse to making big splash moves that they need to make. They are complacent with, dare I say, mediocre coaching during the stretch of that. And at some point, your star quarterback starts getting a little fed up with the way things are going. I don't know. I don't know if Burrow is technically taking shots at anybody right now.
And here's the thing with this too. Is it very well, you know, like Mike Petraglia, I think Trags was the voice of that last question of saying, like, you seem like you're really down. Is it personal? Is it football related? And he kind of said all of the above. So you never know if this is just like things. Maybe, I mean, you know, he's had a lot happen in his personal life too in the last. And this is not the show for us to talk about Joe Burrow's personal life, but it's fact. He's had a lot that's went on in the last year plus. You know, some stuff in his personal life as far as relationships and so on. Somebody broke into his house. He felt that, you know, you saw that in quarterback and so on and all of that. So you never know if how much of that weighs on him, of that aspect of it. You know, it's the holiday season, so sometimes some of those things kind of, you know, they snowball for people as well. And then you combine that with struggles at work. I mean, we all can relate to that. When things are
Mhm.
not going great at work, sometimes those struggles are brought back to the home life and so on. And how much of that balance of it. And I don't know. It's at least worth mentioning, but I also think that Burrow is very calculated with the way he talks.
Yeah.
He is a very, very intelligent person. And if you think back to right about a year ago, maybe, I don't think to the day, but maybe, might have been yesterday, in fact. Was that Monday Night Football against the Cowboys? Might have been a year ago yesterday. Or a
Close.
year ago, pretty much to the day. And do you remember what he came out and he said after that game that night? Was when he pretty much said, we need to re-sign T. Higgins. And from that point on, in all seriousness, I think prior to that, I don't think either one of us really thought that T. Higgins was going to be a Bengal in 2026 or 2025.
No.
Well, really, and for sure in 2026. But
No, we didn't think that until like right before there was
until
a lot
Burrow
of,
said that.
yeah. Well, and we didn't even think it that much after it that they were, we were, we even
But
after
at
that
least the
Broncos
percentage
game.
was a lot higher after Burrow said that
Mhm.
than it was, because I think we would have said it prior to Burrow talking at almost zero, of him coming back. I think you could probably go back and our talk and things changed. So now the thought process is almost 1 year later, is he trying to do something else and talking here? And then the hope is that if there is, because I mean, here's the thing with the Brown family. They're not stupid. Okay? They're not. I mean, listen, do they make terrible decisions? Yeah, absolutely. They have a lot of stuff, would we change a lot? Absolutely. But I think that they're smart enough to know what they got.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the Brown family are a lot like you and me. We do a lot of stupid things, but we are not technically stupid people, we don't think.
No. And they care. They do. And people say that they don't. They just want their money and so on. Well, you know what's going to get them a lot of money, Mick? Joe freaking Burrow.
Yeah.
Because he is the guy that people are going to want to come and see play football at Paycor Stadium.
Yeah. And the Bengals front office really needs to take in consideration. I think that they have with Burrow for the most part, but you need to take into consideration who you want to hitch your wagon to in the future. Now, like I said, we don't know if Joe Burrow is taking any shots at the coaching staff or at the front office moves that they've made in free agency and the draft and whatnot, which also has a lot to do with the coaching staff as well, because the scouting department's so thin. These coaches are a lot more involved in the roster building, roster construction matters for the team. And I don't know. I don't know what to speculate. Could be something personal. It could be the fact that he's had a couple of conversations with Josh Allen before and after the Bills game, and they have a somewhat of a close relationship. You obviously see Josh Allen working with Joe Burrow's former passing guru from LSU and Joe Brady and the offense that they've had on the field throughout the course. Now, the issues haven't been on the offense, especially when Burrow is in there. But maybe you're seeing some cracks in Burrow's competence or confidence in Zach Taylor being the CEO of the football team anymore, which Zach's done an okay job at throughout, his tenure here. He hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been great by any means. And you got to think Joe Burrow is a guy that's pushing for greatness, and he works his ass off, throughout the year, throughout the offseason, worked his ass off during his rehab stint, came back 2 weeks earlier than the most optimistic timetable that we saw for this turf toe injury.
Which was this Sunday.
It should have been this Sunday, just based off of that, or even maybe the Bills game, I guess. It came back a week and a half earlier than that, at least. And you're just not seeing the effort across the board. You had a wide receiver that you were happy with drafting with a couple of years ago that I bet Burrow was really excited to work with, as well as Zach Taylor and Jermaine Burton, who did absolutely nothing to earn any playing time and is eventually off the team. You're seeing this defense just flail at making opportunities, making plays when they need to make plays. it's kind of a dark ages right now, honestly, with this franchise. And the bright spot that you have is that Burrow is still here, and you have to do everything you can if you're the Bengals front office to keep this train rolling with Burrow. And it has to be with Burrow and Chase. You can't be making concessions with that, or with anybody else if they're unhappy with the way things are going.
Yeah, because in all seriousness, if I were Mike Brown, you almost make Joe Burrow a de facto assistant GM. Like, not really, obviously, but like, he is going to help make a lot of these decisions, because honestly, who I think should, a lot of the decision on Zach Taylor probably should be Joe Burrow. You're asking him, privately, what kind of faith do you have in him as a leader and so on? What kind of faith do you have in this? You are the leader. You are the franchise. You are the one that matters more than anybody else in the city of Cincinnati right now. Maybe, I think literally more than anybody else. Sorry, Ellie De La Cruz. Joe Burrow is still at a higher level than him. But like, you've got to find a way, and we don't want to take too much time on this because we still got more to talk about. But the question is okay, he said this. Does anything happen for it? Because, last year I made the point, and it might have been the year before, and it might just be every year, that this was the most important offseason in Bengals history. This coming one supersedes it. And the positive for this is last year, I think the excuse that you saw the front office make, and I don't know that they actually like physically made it, but the one that they would probably say behind closed doors was, we were trying to get the deals done with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and maybe that's why we got a step slower in free agency. That's a terrible argument because there are reasons for that. But regardless, if that is it, the pro is this year, it's not like you really have any extensions to worry about.
Yeah, maybe one extension to worry about.
Yeah, DJ Turner, but it's not like DJ Turner is that you're going to be stressing up, there's not going to be the same level of stress as a Burrow, Higgins, Chase, Jesse Bates. Like, you don't have any of those in that realm. So because of that, you're going to be able to go all in. And the hope is that they do. Similar to what they did, in 2021 for free, or 2022 free agency, where, you get Karras and Kappa, right off the bat. You sign a bunch of these guys. You get DJ Reader the year before. You get Trey Hendrickson. They need to have another class like that, and then they actually have to have a good draft again. And again, we're getting ahead of ourselves because these are discussions for the offseason. But the hope is that this can be something to do it. Like Riley says, it's the Brady approach. Make the team better and use the position for leverage.
Yeah. I mean, I think that and it just, the part that makes it even more like disheartening or disappointing just from that press conference is that this team still technically can make the postseason. And
it's not insanity for it to happen.
No, it's not. It's not.
We'll talk about that
like
a little
it
bit. We'll
was
talk about that a
last
little bit later
year.
on.
Yeah.
You don't need a miraculous Chiefs to beat the Broncos with was it Carson Wentz that started quarterback that day? I think it was Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So like, you're not having to worry about miracles with that. But alas, I at least wanted to mention that because it was important. But yeah, happy birthday to Joe Burrow. Let's hit a couple of the other headlines for today. You mentioned very quickly Jermaine Burton officially released. Do we need to pour one out for him, Mick? Oh, wait, that's right. We are going to take a 4-second moment of silence, right, for Jermaine Burton in honor of his 4 career catches.
It's been 4 seconds.
There it is. It's 4 seconds. That's all he deserves. I think the biggest thing with Jermaine Burton has got to be what could have been.
Yeah. That's really the best thing I could think about is just, we haven't seen this, a player, with as much potential be as much of a head ass, and we didn't get as much as we should have gotten out of him since Odell Thurman was on the team. And we still got a full Pro Bowl. Maybe, I can't remember if he won Defensive Rookie of the Year or not, but he close to it season from Odell Thurman when he played in 2005. And then he was so much of an idiot that, you never really heard from him since. I mean, Jermaine Burton, Godspeed, man. Hope you find your feet, hope you land somewhere, whether it be in the NFL, CFL, or UFL or just get, hopefully you get your life together, man. And is we all know that we all know the talent that Jermaine Burton has and what he can do. And we wanted him to be this field stretcher so bad for this team. Like we knew we've known for the past 2 years, this team's been missing a more effective wide receiver 3, really the past 3 years, because the last year of Tyler Boyd wasn't anything to particularly write home about. So yeah, I mean, best of luck to him, and hopefully we can solve that position here next year.
For one, Sean Merriman won Defensive Rookie of the year of Odell Thurman, so that's not
okay. Well, that's okay. That's
not a bad guy to lose to. But I see a lot of people complaining about another blown draft pick by the Bengals. And listen, yes, but I don't know, like they took a risk. And the thing is, Mick, is and you talked about this. If Jermaine Burton had a head on his shoulders, he could have been a first-round pick, talent-wise, because he had all the tools that you're looking for to be a first-round receiver. What the Bengals thought is we have one of the best wide receiver rooms in football. We've got an established quarterback. We've got good leaders on that offense, on the offensive line, Orlando Brown, Ted Karras, and so on. We can put maybe somebody in here who's a little bit of a project in the head, and maybe him being around good people will fix him. They took a risk, and it didn't pay off. And hey, that's football.
Yeah, it is. And, part of me kind of wonders, how much did the beginning of his career really kind of just throw things in for a tailspin, just with the whole drama with Jabbar and T and their contracts. And, those are the guys that are the leaders of that wide receiver room, and then it just never got better for Jermaine Burton. But I just feel like the rug has been pulled from us so many times. We kept on hearing, multiple times where they're, coaching staff saying, oh, Jermaine Burton's doing the right things and he's looking so good in camp and he's doing this and he's doing that. And you never saw anything happen with him. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like Riley says, you're writing in. The kid needs help, but sometimes it just takes losing everything to get right. And he didn't get claimed. And yeah, I hope he's able to figure out what he needs in there, because he's got the potential to be a really good receiver. And I mean, listen, like we think back to a guy the Bengals took a risk on that potentially had some character issues coming out, Joe Mixon, and he turned out to be a really good player for the Cincinnati Bengals. It sometimes works. It sometimes doesn't, and that's football. Other bad news, seems like that's the kind of show that we're on today. Trey Hendrickson is pretty much out for the season. He's up for 6 weeks. So, I mean, you'd think that more than likely means that you're out for the season unless the Bengals somehow go on a miraculous run. He had core muscle surgery. Another one, what could have been this year? Could he have helped at all on this defense? But also for the Bengals, now this is the moment of, well, now you have major buyer's remorse, because you could have flipped him if you knew, like, hindsight's 2020 kind of thing. Obviously, you had no idea that this was going to be the outcome, but it does kind of stink that this was the outcome.
Yeah, and we're talking about flipping him in the offseason. I mean, there's no way he had any trade value by the deadline of this year.
Fourth round, maybe.
Yeah, particularly because of the injury he had. So, yeah. I mean, hindsight's always 2020, but you do run the risk of something happening to him, and then his trade value's shit by the time the deadline happens, and then you don't get anything out of him. Or
at the same time, or he's the candidate for National Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Now, it's going to remain to be seen what happens to Trey. Does the front office just completely cut ties with them, wish him the best of luck, and let him sign somewhere else? Is there a tag and trade maybe that they could try to do? Because honestly, we don't. This defense does not look good without him. It's looked like the worst defense in the league without him.
What's the percentage chance Trey Hendrickson is a Cincinnati Bengal next year?
Probably like 10-15%.
I was going to say 5%. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it from Trey's side.
Yeah.
Unless the Bengals just come and offer him an insane amount of money. And I don't see that happening.
Yeah, no, and I bet there's still a bad taste in Trey's mouth from the whole drama this past offseason between his camp and the Bengals front office. The kind of the way I like to call it was a cold war with the media between the two sides, where information was getting leaked from one side, and you had press conferences at training camp while you're sitting in street clothes on the other side. It was a toxic situation once again, and the Bengals front office has to do better at avoiding these types of situations. It's pretty embarrassing that it's these types of situations have become too common over the course of the past couple of years, and obviously it's come to the point where you have a press conference that we just saw from Joe Burrow a few minutes ago.
Shamar Stewart cleared to return from IR. He practiced in full today, so we might see Shamar back on Sunday. Yay! I'm gonna leave that silence from you as your take on that entire situation.
He needs some reps. My God, does he need reps? So just fucking do it.
Xavier Johnson has been signed to the practice squad. You got your favorite Xavier Johnson moment?
No.
Do you even know who that is?
I looked up his background and went to Summit.
The Ohio State University. He's a Cincinnati kid.
Summit in Cincinnati.
I did see today a fun tweet from Charlie Goldsmith. I guess Charlie played against him high school basketball, and I guess Charlie was like the sixth man and had to guard him. Said it didn't go well, which I appreciated. And then game time changes for the Bengals, or at least officially. In news that shocked absolutely no one, the Dolphins game got flexed out of Sunday night. That is now a 1:00 game. Another surprising news. I mean, I think it surprised it even took that long. And then earlier today, they did officially make the Cardinals game, Week 17, a Sunday at 1:00. Again, another one that really doesn't surprise anybody for us at all for that. Okay, that's the news. That's maybe the longest news segment we've ever done, almost 30 minutes of just straight news, but there was a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about Bengals Bills. Then we'll talk playoffs, and then we'll do a little bit about the Ravens game. And Mick, I do get to at least have some really, really, really good news a little bit later on in the show. So I get to tease that for you on some good news that gets to happen later on in the show. That's what we call the tease. I am very excited. Okay, let's talk Bengals offense against the Bills. My biggest takeaway from this, and I've been kind of surprised. Joe Burrow, 25 of 36, 284, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Were you surprised as much as I was about the blame that people were putting on him, if him being the reason the Bengals lost the game?
Part of me says yes, and then part of me realizes that a lot of these, there's some fans out there that'll just find a way to complain about anything.
Jabronis.
Yeah, there's some fans that are, as Travis Kelce would call them, jabronis, or as I would call them, jabronis. Burrow looked pretty damn good in this game. Besides, I guess 3 throws technically. I mean, I guess you obviously had the pick 6 to Christian Benford, which I agreed with the idea with what Burrow wanted to do there. And obviously he's made that throw plenty of times. And if he hasn't made that throw, it's usually just getting batted down by the defensive back. Usually you're not seeing the defensive back just snag the thing out of midair.
Great play.
And yeah, great play by Christian Benford. Also, you saw Burrow kind of lose grip of the ball. I think that play was unlucky in some sense. Maybe it was a bad, decision at the time. But it wasn't a decision that should result in an interception, let alone a pick 6. Second interception was straight unlucky, just a batted ball at the line of scrimmage that, was, tip drill interception. And then he also had one that was actually a turnover worthy play in the first half. I think he was throwing down the sideline to Jamar, I think, or maybe somebody. Yeah. It was on the far sideline of the TV broadcast, and one of the defensive backs completely jumped that ball. But Burrow also had some incredible plays in this game. The one stat that really spoke to me, and it's just it's Joe Burrow at his finest, is the third down offense stat, where the Bengals converted 10 of 12 third downs.
And
You
how many of
didn't
those were third down and long?
Yeah, they're down in average down and distance to go was 7.1 yards that I saw at one point later in the game. And yeah, Burrow converted over 80% of those third downs is
And,
quite miraculous.
and
I
you
thought it
think
was awesome.
he just barely missed T on that one play late in the first half. On the play where he scrambled out and T broke free and just overthrew him a little bit. That would have been another third down conversion. And I mean, you think of that how different the game is if he makes that throw. And again, that was a really tough play in the snow. T kind of slipped on it as well with it. My biggest takeaway as well, other than Burrow, is Mike Gesicki probably had his best game as a Bengal. 6 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. He made some great plays.
Yeah, no, they found a way to get him incorporated into the game. It's been a while since we've seen a great Mike Gesicki game. It's probably dating back to last year.
Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders game last year. Definitely a good one from him. But yeah, I think Mike Gesicki looked great. He was pretty much that wide receiver 3 that we've been missing all throughout the course of this year. And that's not to throw too much shade on Andre Yoshavash. I've thrown a lot of shade his way over the course of the past couple of years, but he hasn't played all too terribly this year. But you can just tell that he's not a wide receiver 3. Like you can tell
he's a good wide receiver 4.
Yeah, maybe even a good wide receiver 5. But yeah, the fact that you finally have Gesicki out there and and have him play the way that he's played, especially this past week, speaks to the connection him and Burrow have. I think Burrow really likes having him out there on the field. And, made plenty of crucial plays down the stretch, some contested catches, a lot of third down conversions, had the nice touchdown pass from Burrow. Great game from Gesicki.
T. Higgins, 2 touchdowns, maybe another concussion. He's back in concussion protocol. That's kind of a weird scenario. I don't know all the rules. I don't really want to go into it. We've already gone down to the weeds on a lot of stuff today. But he had another good game and made some really good catches.
Yeah, no, I mean he was really the game was the T and Gesicki show. Now we'll figure out. Well, I guess we'll find out sooner or later whether he's going to play the rest of the season. Just given the
for what it's worth, and this is a little tease for earlier. He was limited today in practice. For what it's worth.
Well, that's good. That's good. But yeah, great game from T. Had an unreal touchdown catch in the end zone in the in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Yep, the 14. Yep, the second touchdown of the game. Unreal catch. Had a lot of catches down the stretch. Gesicki converted a lot of third downs, kept the offense on schedule. Took a lot of blows to the head and played regardless. Tough game from T. Played really well.
The throw Joe Burrow made, the throw and catch combination on the Chase Brown touchdown, unreal.
Yeah. Yeah, the Joe Burrow throw was just so impressive on the move, rolling out, I think to his right, and literally just putting it in a spot for Chase Brown, and only Chase Brown could catch that ball. And good catch from Chase Brown. I think the throw from Burrow is better than the catch from Chase Brown. Where if I'm looking at the T. Higgins touchdown, I think the catch from T. Higgins was better than the throw from Joe Burrow. But yeah, you saw some unreal touchdowns on both sides in this game, and you got to give some credit to Josh Allen too for some of the throws he was making. That throw to Khalil Shakir in the second quarter to go 14. I think that was their first touchdown of the game. It brought the score to 14 to 11, and I don't know how the hell Josh Allen fit that ball in there like that. That was. It was covered about as well as it could have been covered by I think Demetrius Knight on that play. And sometimes players just make crazy plays. I don't know. That was one where I didn't really fault the defense on the touchdown there. There's plenty to fault the defense on today.
And let's come back to that here in a few minutes. There are a couple more points I wanted to make sure I made about the offense at least. The run game struggled. I'm interested how much of that goes to the snow. It can't be easy to run the football in a driving snowstorm because you don't get any footing whatsoever. So I at least think that was at least somewhat of a factor. That and the Bills have a good defense.
Yeah, I think it was a factor for Chase Brown because I think Chase Brown is so much more of an agile, move around type of runner.
He could get that
is
burst.
more of a finesse guy, and he couldn't do that. I mean, this game really screamed to be a Samaje Perine game when you hear the news that it's a snow game. And shit, with the reps that Samaje Perine had in, he actually looked pretty good throwing the foot or running the football. 6 attempts, 31 yards, average 5.2 yards per carry, 4.33 yards after contact. I thought he looked really well, but again, that's why did we get to like the fourth quarter of the game to realize, oh, Samaje is the one with the hot hand. Let's just, feed him the ball more in this game here. It's just, I don't know. You got to make that decision sooner rather than later. It's not like the running game was working at all with Chase Brown even early in the game. So,
pass blocking once again was really good.
Yeah, good game.
Orlando Brown is playing really good over these last couple of weeks. After you called him the Tesla stock of offensive tackles, Tesla stock's been up.
Yeah, it has. It's on the upswing right now. He's looked really good. Now, we talk about the run game. Whether these runners were affected by the snow. I think that the snow also has some effect on the pass blocking and pass rush. You heard Greg Olsen mention multiple times during the broadcast. It's a little bit easier for offensive linemen to pass block in a game as opposed to it being a lot harder for the pass rush to get any traction going in a snow game like that. But yeah, good game from the offensive line again. From the starting 5 offensive line, I'm totaling 4 pressures given up from these guys. No sacks allowed. Was hit once, allowed 1 hit from Dylan Fairchild. The sack wasn't on the offensive line, and technically you throw it on Burrow, but shit, the disguise that Christian Benford had on that blitz was insane. Like, he took at least a solid 2.5 seconds before he finally decided to blitz on that quarter blitz. And it was just so perfectly timed that nobody could do anything about it. So I wouldn't even throw that sack on Joe Burrow, let alone the offensive line on that play. Also, this game made me realize that I really would love to have a Christian Benford on my football team because that dude made a couple of really, really, really nice plays.
There are a couple guys in that Bills defense that I wouldn't mind having on the Bengals defense.
Yeah, not Maxwell Hairston though, based off of what we saw on Sunday. But
Max wasn't somebody that I loved in Kentucky, anyways. For it as one of my UK guys. Okay, do we have to talk about the defense? Do we have to?
Yeah, we should.
Positive safeties were okay.
I thought Jordan Battle looks fine.
Now, I'm interested with that and Greg Olsen made the point. For one, shout out to Greg Olsen. I think he's the best analyst in the game right now.
Yeah, so I didn't really watch, I watched the game, but when you're watching by yourself afterwards and doing a rewatch, you actually get to listen a little bit better as opposed to when emotions are pretty high. You're kind of in your own head. You're checking your fantasy football team, and you also have other people around you. You don't really.
You mean somebody that you might have watched the game with wouldn't shut up during a game? I don't know.
Riley was on his best behavior.
Wow.
But yeah, it's rewatching the game. I mean, I totally am agreeing with you where Greg Olsen just busts his ass off on doing color commentary. Just had something incredibly insightful on every play. Dare I say, it reminds me of early career Romo before Romo became a hack. But it was nice to watch from him.
Yeah, Olsen's just fantastic, and as somebody who does knows the industry and so on, yeah, he's fantastic. And I pay closer attention to that thing just because I'm so used to, obviously, like it sounds so conceited, but like I've known enough and done it enough to know what good and what bad is, and I think he's really good.
Not a whole lot of stops in the game from the defense.
No.
Really, the best tackle
No.
of the day was made by the snow. That's a comment that I wrote down. On that Ty Johnson run, only 23 yards because they actually gave Geno
The turf
Stone the
monster.
credit on the tackle. I guess he's the one that got the touchdown on
That touched him, yeah.
that touched him when he fell in the snow there. They had some good goal line defense early on in the game. That zero blitz that Al Golden called on the QB power, QB blast from Josh Allen. Really nicely timed. Good play by Joseph Osai, and I think Geno Stone got in on that. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question here? I got
Yeah.
I got a big question about the defense. Mick, what do you think about Barrett Carter on the Bengals defense?
Jesus. I have one good note on Allen or on Barrett Carter.
So, is it safe to say I know I've been looking for a new Bengal defensive player to buy a jersey for. Is it safe to say you're not buying a Barrett Carter jersey?
Yes. It's safe to say. I don't know how you can continue to let this guy be on the field.
Because who else do you have?
It's not like Demetrius Knight's making worser plays than Barrett Carter. Orrin Burks is making, I would say, better plays than Barrett Carter. Actually, no, Orrin Burks.
Orrin Burks graded worse. Yes.
Yeah. Orrin Burks graded like shit.
Joe Giles Harris.
Is Shaka Hayward, maybe? Is it Shaka Hayward back?
I don't think he's been officially. He's still in that 21-day window.
Okay, well, maybe Shaka Hayward's the answer. Like, I really liked him when he played in limited
How
action.
sad is it that we're now at the point where maybe Shaka Hayward's the answer? Like, it's just.
Well, you had an answer on your team, a guy that was locked into a contract for another 2 years, and then you just piss it away for no reason whatsoever. That is the one move from Al Golden that should get him fired. I don't care how, like, Logan Wilson may have looked like he's dropped off over the course of the past, really just this past season, because he played well last year. The fact that you completely just benched Logan Wilson for no good reason in favor for Barrett fucking Carter, who's done nothing but play like shit the entire time he's been here, is malpractice. You should lose your job for making a decision like that.
Logan Wilson's not been much better. Like, Barrett Carter's been awful, but like, you look at the grading right now, even in Dallas, Logan Wilson's not been good.
Well, that's a new system. Like, I'm not. But Logan played better than Barrett Carter when Logan Wilson was here.
I think a blind monkey would. I'm not going to disagree with you at all on that. DJ Turner had a rough game as well. Penalty hurt him there.
Did have the strip fumble.
He did.
He also had two PBUs, I think, or maybe just one. Wasn't his best game. Wasn't his best game.
It wasn't. Okay.
I've seen worse games from Bengals quarters.
Well, that is
wasn't
true.
terrible. Wasn't good though.
Any other quick points here? I know we're running a little bit long, or should we go ahead and talk about the playoff odds? It's not great.
I don't care.
It's not
Let's
great.
Just move on.
Like, it's just all bad for the defense. And I feel like we could literally record a defensive segment and say, oh, Barrett Carter was terrible. The linebackers look bad. They can't cover tight ends. Quarterbacks make plays on fourth down and third down and long.
Why can't we defend play action? Like, how many times did we just give up like a 20-yard play, 20-plus yard play
to a
on
tight
play
end?
action? To a tight end in particular, yes. Or to James Cook. It's just, what are we doing, man? Like, this, it's terrible. Yeah.
Playoffs. Okay, let's talk about this right now. And I know, listen, if you're listening or you're watching right now and you're saying, there's no chance, fast forward 3 or 4 minutes. Because, listen, yes, there is. There is a chance. Do things need to happen? Yes, but let's talk about this. Right now, Bengals have a 3% chance of making the playoffs. Okay? If they lose on Sunday, season's over. 0% chance. 0% chance. Okay, so here's what needs to happen. Bengals need to win out. So you need to beat the Ravens. You need to beat the Cardinals. You need to beat the Browns. And what's the game I'm missing? Ravens, Browns,
Dolphins.
Dolphins. Thank you. Okay. Is that crazy to say? Not
No, not
insanity.
really. No, it's
not
really
insanity.
not crazy at all.
It's not insanity. Okay.
It's actually fairly doable.
It is. It's very much doable. Okay. You say check. Let's just say for the sake of discussion, because obviously if they lose, then this discussion is moot. It's a moot point. Check mark. You need the Steelers to go 1-3 against the Dolphins, Lions, Browns, and Ravens. I think that's, I mean, you're saying you see Lions. That's one that you feel pretty confident about. Dolphins, maybe they can help us out. Browns, I believe that game is in Cleveland. So maybe Myles Garrett does a little bit something. And Ravens, like you could see that. This is your leg that you're the most worried about. But you can at least see that. And if that does happen, the Ravens would then need to lose to either the Patriots or the Packers. Which
fairly doable.
Yes.
No, they would just need to lose to us and the Packers, wouldn't they?
No, they would have to lose to one of those two games, I believe. At least that's what they're
6-7. If we beat the Ravens,
well, according to the Athletics thing, the percentages would still have to be, I don't know.
I was going to say if we beat the Ravens and they lose either to the Patriots or the Packers, they're 8-9. We have the tiebreaker over them.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If that happens, they would need to lose. If that happens, they would need to lose one of those games.
I thought you said they needed to lose both of them.
No, one of them.
Okay,
Okay, I was confused. Yeah, I was like, no, I think my math is right on that. I double checked it. So yeah, they need to lose to either the Patriots or the Packers. I feel pretty good about those odds. Like losing one of those, I believe the Packers game is in Lambeau too. At Lambeau in December.
And the Packers are looking like a real juggernaut right now. Like they're looking like maybe the best team in the NFL.
I believe that was picked for the Saturday night game too. Let's see, Week 17 NFL, because that was just released today. But let's see. Yes, that's Saturday night game, late December in Lambeau. Good luck. I mean, that's as tough as it's going to get to win that game. So you're at least seeing that. But, I mean, the biggest thing with this is you need to cheer. And, again, I know this is hard for me, Mick. You need to cheer for the Pittsburgh Steelers to lose every single game. Which, hey, I'm good at that. I do that every single week.
It's a Christmas miracle for you.
It is, if it can actually happen. So, again, is it likely? Maybe not. Is it insanity? No.
No, I think you have better odds right now than you did last year at this point.
Yes.
And this team's 4-9.
Yes. Now, you don't control your own destiny like you did last year. And I mean, that's the thing too. You this happens, you're hosting in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And hey,
and then you're maybe playing New England, who you almost beat with Joe Flacco and no Jamar Chase.
I'd feel pretty good. If you told me it was Bengals Patriots week 1 of the playoffs, I'd feel pretty good about that in Cincinnati. I'd at least like our odds for it. Okay. Bengals Ravens on Sunday at beautiful Paycor Stadium. It'll be 1:00, and it is going to be a cold. It is going to be very cold on Sunday. I know you're just so excited for that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let's see what we're looking here. Cincinnati, Ohio weather Sunday. Let's see what it says. It is going to be on Sunday. Oh my goodness, it's gotten even worse. It has gotten even worse. Is this There's no way this is accurate. Okay, I'll accept cookies right now. It's saying right now that on Sunday, it is going to be, okay, one outlet said 10, one outlet said 15 as a high on Sunday. It is going to be single digits for tailgating on Sunday morning. Oh my goodness. I might need to get another layer.
We might be tailgating at my house.
No way. We got to experience this. That just means you got to drink more. Adam, if you're going to be at home, Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta will be on the call. The ruler of the jungle, Jeff Blake, will be the ruler of the jungle. And the best news of it all, Mick. I am
Oh, I
so
already,
excited about
I
the
already
best
knew
news.
this was
At
happening. actually.
halftime on
I
Sunday,
knew it was happening.
mascot football returns. And as you know, nothing makes me happier than mascot football at halftime during a Bengals game. I get giddy during it.
Yeah, and at least these mascots are pretty well insulated into their costumes or whatever.
These
These
kids,
kids are
crazy.
going to be miserable. They're going to get tackled by grown-ass mascots in the freezing cold.
Phenomenal. I can't wait. Can't wait for that. Brad Allen is going to be the official. Bengals are 4-6 all time. Ravens are 11-4. Brad Allen was the Packers game this year, Chargers last year, Commanders last year. It's 3 not great in a row. Steelers road in 2022. That was a good one. Cowboys road in 2022. Not a great one. Jags in 2021. That was the Thursday Night Football Can't Zero Me game. And the Burrow Bowl, which was the 2019 game between the Bengals and the Dolphins. He did that game.
That was
Those
the
are a couple
Brian
of the
Flores, Zach Taylor.
almost near fight game.
Yes.
Injury report. T. Higgins limited with in concussion protocol. Again, with concussions, could literally mean anything. Could literally mean anything. PJ Jules did not practice for the Bengals. For the Ravens, Cheeto did not practice. So Cheeto Bay Awuzie did not practice. And Lamar didn't practice. Now, Lamar didn't practice for rest reasons, which is intriguing because somebody made the point I saw. I don't know if it was Jay Morrison or somebody on Twitter. It is very rare to see a quarterback take a practice off for rest.
Yeah, I would say it is kind of rare. Now, Lamar has been dealing with, I think, like somewhat of a lingering injury ever since he's came back.
But I
about
think
a
that
month
shows
ago.
that there is something.
Yeah, no, but there's got to be something. We haven't seen Lamar play this poorly really ever since he's been in the league. So, yeah, I mean, I think that there's probably something to do with that, his lingering injury from earlier in the season. And, yeah, you got to rest him. You got to rest him, I guess.
Okay, let's talk about this game. We just saw it.
We did.
Listen, NFL, don't do this. Like, spread these games out. I hate this. 2 times in 3 weeks. Like, I hate this.
Well, there's no rhyme or reason to it either, because you have one end of the spectrum with this, and then you have the Browns who you played in week 1, and now you're going to play in week 18. Like, what are you guys
I hate that
doing?
too. I hate that too. Like, don't do this. I just don't like it. Didn't the Ravens and the Steelers do this a couple of years ago where they played like week 15 and week 18 or something in that realm, if my memory's right? They did something like this. It's
the Bengals and the Steelers have done it a couple of times in recent memory too.
It drives me crazy. It's the same thing in Major League Baseball where they'll play like the Reds will host the Dodgers Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the next week they'll be in LA Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's just annoying. I don't know. It's there we go. I'm old man yelling at the cloud. Old man yelling at the cloud for that. But the Bengals offense against this Ravens defense looked pretty darn good with Burrow coming back. And I mean, Burrow and Chase always pretty much perform well against this Ravens defense.
Yeah, and they performed well on Thanksgiving without T. Higgins in the lineup. They were Burrow was able to make it work around with Jamar. Obviously, you had Andre Yoshavash with the crucial touchdown in that game. Obviously, you got Mike Gesicki involved, Noah Fant involved at some various points.
Mitchell Tinsley was targeted a lot.
Yeah, was targeted a lot.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning because it was accurate. He was targeted a lot, made a couple of catches.
So yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking at the matchup with this Ravens defense, you know, Ravens still pretty good at run defense. They've graded towards top 10 in the league this year in run defense. Still led by good players like Roquan Smith. Malachi Starks had a good season. Kyle Hamilton, plenty of guys. I'm blanking a little bit on the roster now, but yeah, they run the ball really well. It's going to have to be another Joe Burrow air it out kind of football game to keep this to keep the team in it.
You mentioned the Kyle Hamilton factor. He is honestly, if you could tell me I could have one defensive player on my team that's not an edge rusher, not a pass rusher, I think it'd be Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to really
Pat
even think
Surtain.
of anybody else. Maybe Fred Warner, but Fred Warner's kind of old at this point. Same with Roquan. But
I
yeah,
think it'd be Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton's just a Swiss Army knife of the defense. You know,
He's
and-
what you thought Dax Hill was going to be.
Yeah, in a sense, he is. Except he's just much bigger, much
Better.
stronger. Yeah, just better. He's like the Mike. He's the Micah Parsons of defensive backs.
That's a good way to describe it. But yeah, he's just a fantastic player. Switching sides, talking about the Bengals defense against this Ravens offense. You know, the Ravens turned the ball over 5 times. That's not going to happen again. Lamar was awful against the Bengals. Awful. And was better last week against the Steelers. But to me, the biggest takeaway from that entire game, and it still makes me scratch my head, was the Derrick Henry factor. You know, he had 10 carries for 60 yards. He only had 12 total snaps on offense in the entire game. Second fewest of the season. 10 for 60. He had 1 catch for 44 yards. It was just odd. And I get they were playing from behind, but they weren't playing from behind by that much until late in the game. It was odd.
And you gotta kind of wonder. It's not just this
His
past
father
game
time.
against the Bengals. You know, this has been quite a drop off of a season from Derrick Henry. Or, you know, do I want to use the cliche as father time coming around? I guess maybe, but it's definitely worth noting. You know, it's definitely his worst graded season that he's had in either ever or maybe since his rookie season. I guess he graded worse in his rookie season. Yeah, he hasn't looked particularly well this year. And that's the strong focal point of their offense. It's not like Lamar is able to really pass the ball down the field that well right now. So if you're the Bengals defense, I think you need to have more of the same game plan that you had on Thursday night, where you're just ultra aggressive, stacking up the box. You're not playing too high deep. If anything, make Lamar pass the ball on you and make him earn the game through the air, as opposed to letting him scramble around, run around, letting Derrick Henry run the ball or others run the ball in that game as well. It's and we didn't see enough of that in the Bills game. That was another note that I had on the defense. We were talking about the game is, and I think Greg Olson mentioned it quite a bit. The Bengals were playing too much 2-man high because they didn't want Josh Allen to beat them with deep throws. But guess what? I would rather have Josh Allen beat me with deep throws than have Josh Allen beat me by running the football or dumping it off to tight ends or to James Cook or whatever, where they made it so much easier on them. Because that's the game they wanted to run.
You mean you might have put a spy on him? I don't know.
Yeah,
Seems
maybe.
Seems interesting. Okay, Bengals against the Ravens on Sunday afternoon in beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio. I just wish that if it was going to be this cold that it was snowing too. Like, if we're going to do it, let's do it. Like, let's just go all in and let's just enjoy it. And just
you wouldn't make it home.
I would find a way. Listen, the Honda Civic has done things and worse, Mick. And honestly, if I didn't, I would just I can find a place to stay. There's a nice cardboard box on the side of the road that I'm sure I can crawl into for the evening. But here is, before we have a pick for the game, and Riley, I want you to go in on this as well. I am setting the over-under at 15 seconds for how long it takes you to complain about the cold by the time we leave the parking garage on Sunday. Over-under 15 seconds. And I'm taking the
under.
I'm taking the under. I am taking the under without question. And then I'm also curious, how many hand warmers do you use during the game? What's it?
Usually
7.5.
Usually I have 2 per hand, and then I have a thing of toe warmers in. I might be doing 3 per hand. The ski goggles are obviously out.
Do you have a headscarf? I have my headscarf.
Yeah, I do. I have my head sock or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, he won't make it. Yeah, that doesn't count though. Mike, make it out of the house, says Riley. We need to get you down there at tailgate, Riley, with us. Come down and join us. If we're gonna be miserable, let's all be miserable together in the cold.
You want my ticket?
Come on. You know you want to experience a game like this. Okay, who wins?
think it's gonna be a close game this time around. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. Unfortunately, I think the Ravens are winning 31-28. I think that the offense is gonna find a way to come around on this Bengals defense. Just based off that press conference, I know Joe Burrow probably won't be checked out, but he seems a little checked out right now. Maybe it was just a bad day. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens win.
Yeah, see, I think rainy, because it was cold and rainy up there too, right? In Cincinnati today, was it cold and rainy?
Yeah. It was like snowy, kind of sleety.
That makes anybody feel a little blah. That's what I'm going to say. I think we're going to have a vintage Burrow. I think Burrow is going to come back and just look unreal. Like, this will be one of the Burrow games. And Bengals win 31-23 against the Ravens. 31-23. And we're rolling in because we've seen this story, Nick. You know this team is going 8-9. But going to miss the playoffs because Mike Tomlin is going to find a way to go 9-8. And we're going to be talking about this again.
Or even go 8-9 because I think they win the tiebreaker if they go 8-9.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would depend on who they lose to, because divisional records would play into a factor there. The Bengals would be 5-1 in the division, so I guess it would depend who they lose to in that realm. But still. Riley says it'll be sub-5, 8 hand warmers, 9 Zemos, and a Bengals win 35-28. I like it's pretty decent take there from him. That'll wrap us up here. Do you have any parting thoughts? We got
no.
a lot of information today.
Yeah, no. If you're traveling to the game, hope you have a good time. Stay safe, drive safe, travel safe. Make sure to bundle up, as I will be, and hopefully we bring home a win.
Well said. It'll definitely be a chilly day at Paycor Stadium. That'll wrap us up here for today. Remember to follow us on social media. We're Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're also on your favorite podcasting platform. Give us a 5-star rating there so more people can find the show. Mick, have a good week. Stay warm, and hoo-day, right?
Hoo-day. Thanks for watching.